Liberal democracy is predicated on a context of normality and peace. And all the way back to the Roman Empire, the idea exists that, actually back to ancient Greece, the idea exists that when there is an emergency, you get a dictator. Provisions exist for declaring military law, martial law. The strong man comes in, often a man, a strong woman if you're in Bangladesh, but anyway, the strong person comes in to deal with the emergency. And therefore, it's always in the interest of the strong man or the authoritarian to create the emergency, right? To say that the situation is now so extreme that liberal democracy can no longer cope and emergency measures are required. I mean, that's, of course, in the extremes why the Nazis set fire to the Reichstag and used that as a moment to flip. That's why you get a sense that Donald Trump is often looking for emergencies, claiming there is a crime wave in Washington, D.C., so I have to deploy my army into Washington, D.C., or California is out of control, so the National Guard has to go into California, or Charlie Kirk has been killed, so we have to change the entire way in which we deal with the media because I have this fear. But there's a more profound point, which I think is really difficult for us, which is that we have become mechanisms for the manufacture of anxiety on the left as well as the right. I was reading a book published in 2004, right? And you would have imagined, given the story that I gave you, that a book published in 2004 would have been full of a general sense of optimism and happiness. Because, of course, I just told you this world from 1989 to 2004 was this wonderful world where democracies were doubling and the global economy was growing and poverty was disappearing and every year was more peaceful and there were fewer refugees. And, of course, that isn't at all what happens. Of course, what people are thinking about in that time is, oh my God, this is the worst of all times. 9/11 has happened. Global Islamic terrorism is taking over the world. Climate change is coming and going to kill us, etc., etc., etc. Right? So we have become very, very good at catastrophizing. And I'm aware of this myself. I currently am catastrophizing about artificial intelligence. I am very, very, very close to the position that artificial intelligence is an existential threat to humanity. And I have to hold myself back. I have to hold myself back partly because I'm so aware that we have a desperate psychological need to express disaster and to feel afraid. And that, as you say, that's very dangerous because it is that very catastrophizing, it's that very fear that gives the opportunity to the authoritarian, because the authoritarian gets to come along and say, everything has gone to hell in a handbasket. This is the most dangerous, catastrophic, terrible time in human history. These people can't cope. Vote for me. I'll sort it out.